All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to a deep dive on something I think a lot of you guys are interested in, creatine gummies. So you're looking to kind of, boost those workouts, right? And you've heard creatine can really help. But I think we can all relate. Sometimes those powders and pills can be a hassle.
Yeah.
So that's where these gummies come in, convenient and tasty,
Mm-hmm.
and a fun way to kind of get your creatine fix, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got this guide here from muscletheories.com. It was just published, I think just a few days ago on March 13th, 2025. It breaks down the best creatine gummies for men, and we're going to unpack it all today. The author, Mohammed Natsif Udin, he knows a thing or two about this. He's been bodybuilding for over 5 years and even founded Muscle Theory. So
Sounds like we're in good hands.
I think so. I think so.
So before we jump into the gummy goodness,
Yeah.
maybe a quick creatine 101, for those who might be new to this.
Yeah, totally. Some folks might be wondering what even is creatine.
Right, it's actually a natural compound found in our muscles. Think of it as like a quick energy source for those short bursts of intense activity, like lifting weights or
Yeah.
sprinting.
Yeah.
When you supplement with creatine, you're essentially increasing your body's stores of phosphocreatine, which helps your muscles produce more energy.
Okay.
That leads to those gains in strength and power and muscle size that people are after.
And even there's even been research, I think, suggesting it might give your brain a boost too.
Exactly. It's not just about muscles.
Okay.
Creatine has shown some promise in improving cognitive function and memory.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that is cool. Okay, so we know WHY creatine, awesome.
Right.
But WHY gummies, I mean, they sound great,
Right.
but is there more to it?
I think convenience is a huge factor.
Yeah.
It's like a little treat,
Yeah.
that also packs a powerful punch.
Right.
You get your pre-measured dose without any messy scoops or struggling to swallow pills. And let's face it, gummies are way more enjoyable than choking down chalky powder.
For sure.
Plus, they can be gentler on the stomach for those who might find powders a bit iffy.
Okay, I'm sold on the gummy concept.
Good.
But this article does mention some key features to look for when choosing one, and it says the type of creatine is important. I'm guessing they're talking about creatine monohydrate, right?
You got it. Creatine monohydrate is like the MVP of creatine. It's the most researched. It has a proven track record, and it's generally the most affordable option. It's the one you'll find in most gummies.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, how about dosage? Is there like a magic number?
The article recommends aiming for 3 to 5 grams per serving. That seems to be the sweet spot for most people to experience the benefits without overdoing it.
Okay, so no need to go overboard, just the right amount to get the job done. Now, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Some of these gummies have added nutrients. We're talking B12 for energy, collagen for those joints, even zinc for testosterone support. I mean, that's going above and beyond, right?
It definitely shows that they're thinking about the whole picture. Those added ingredients can complement the creatine's effects, making it a more comprehensive approach to fitness and well-being.
But are those extras really necessary?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, couldn't a simple creatine monohydrate gummy do the trick?
Well, that's a good question. For some folks, a straightforward approach might be perfectly fine,
Yeah.
but those added nutrients can be a nice bonus, especially if you're looking for specific support in those areas.
Okay, that makes sense. So it comes down to personal preference and what you're looking to achieve. Now, what about quality? The article talks about certifications.
Right, those are important.
Okay.
Look for certifications like NSF-certified for sport or informed choice. That means the product has been independently tested for banned substances and contaminants. It's like having a seal of approval, that you're getting a pure, safe product.
Okay, so it's a little extra peace of mind knowing you're not getting any unwanted surprises, right?
Right, exactly. It's a way for brands to show they're serious about quality and transparency.
Okay, I'm ready to hear about these top picks. The article highlights 5 creatine gummies for men, starting with Beast Bites creatine bites, which they call the best overall.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Oh.
What makes these ones so special?
Well, for starters, they have 5 grams of creatine monohydrate per serving. They're 0 added sugar, 100% natural, and made in the USA. They're even vegan, halal, and gluten-free certified.
Wow, they really are ticking all the boxes.
I know, right?
It's great to see a brand that caters to different dietary needs and preferences.
And here's what I find really cool. The founders, Matt and Chris, have a pretty unique background. Matt is a chef who became a personal trainer, and Chris is a sports nutritionist.
Oh, wow.
So they got both the taste and effectiveness covered.
That's a winning combination.
I know, right?
Since you mentioned wanting a convenient and natural option, Beast Bites might be right up your alley, especially with their focus on taste, with the chef.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. It sounds like they really understand what guys are looking for in a product like this. Okay, the next one on the list is Xworks Build Creatine Gummies. And the article highlights their clean, natural formulation.
Ah, Xworks.
Mhm.
I've heard good things about them. They're known for their commitment to science-backed information and transparent labeling.
Exactly. These gummies are non-GMO and vegan friendly.
Good.
But here's what I find fascinating. Xworks isn't just about supplements. They've created this whole ecosystem around fitness. They offer resources and workout plans and other products. It's like a whole holistic approach to health and performance.
That's really impressive.
Mhm.
It's not just about selling a product. It's about building a community and supporting people on their fitness journey.
All right, next up we have creatine monohydrate gummies, which the article calls the best premium quality formulation.
Okay, now this one caught my eye. They use Creapure,
Right.
which is considered like the top tier of creatine monohydrate.
So you might be wondering, what is so special about Creapure? Think of it as like the gold standard of creatine.
Okay.
It's produced using a patented process that guarantees a higher level of purity, which makes it, popular for serious athletes and those who just, want the best.
It's like the Rolls-Royce of creatine.
Yes, yes. And get this. Create has reduced the sugar content by 40% compared to the previous formula. Their CEO, Dan McCormick, is also really passionate about debunking those creatine myths that are out there.
It's great to see a brand that's committed to education and transparency. It's important to, separate fact from fiction when it comes to supplements.
Now let's switch gears a bit
All
and
right.
talk about Muscle Tech creatine shoes. These are described as the best alternative to traditional gummies.
Interesting. What makes them different from the other gummies we've talked about?
Well, instead of that, typical gummy texture, they're actually chewable tablets. Ah, that makes sense. So for those who aren't crazy about, gummy consistency, this could be a good option. Plus, they'd probably be more stable in different environments, if you're carrying them in your gym bag on a hot day.
Yeah, you don't want melted gummies all over your stuff.
Yeah.
And like Create, Muscle Tech also uses Creapure for their creatine source.
Yeah.
They've also gone for a streamlined formula with fewer ingredients,
Okay.
which is a plus for anyone with sensitivities. Oh, and the flavor is Citrus Burst, which is a nice change from all the berry flavors we've been talking about.
I appreciate that. Variety is always welcome.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what's the dosage like for these chews?
Each serving has 3 grams of creatine, which is a little bit lower than the standard 5 grams we've seen in the other brands.
Right.
Yeah.
That could be a good starting point for someone who's new to creatine or prefers a more gradual introduction.
Yeah.
Gives you more flexibility in controlling your dosage.
All right. Last but not least, we have Extreme Creatine by Ultra Health X, the best minimalist formula. Minimalist, huh? I'm all ears.
Well, this one is all about simplicity. They only use 8 ingredients, with water and creatine taking a center stage. It's perfect for those who want to avoid those unnecessary additives and fillers.
I can definitely see the appeal for someone who prioritizes a, cleaner approach to supplementation. This would be a great option. Plus, it probably makes it easier to track exactly what you're putting into your body.
That reminds me of something you mentioned earlier about feeling overwhelmed by all the options on Amazon. I bet a minimalist formula like this could be less intimidating for someone just starting out with creatine.
Yeah, it can feel daunting, to navigate all those complex ingredient lists. So a simple, straightforward formula, it can definitely be appealing.
Right, right. And don't worry, they don't skimp on the dosage. Each serving still packs 5 grams of creatine monohydrate.
Okay, good.
Plus, they've kept it budget-friendly, which is always a win. It's great to see a brand that prioritizes both effectiveness and affordability.
Accessibility is so important when it comes to supplements.
Okay, so we've covered those top 5 picks.
Right.
But this article also has an FAQ section that dives into some specific recommendations for different age groups.
That's awesome. It's important to acknowledge that our needs and priorities can change as we get older.
For example, they have a question about the best creatine gummy for men over 40.
Ah, yes. As we age, muscle mass naturally declines.
Right.
It's smart to consider factors like dosage and added benefits that cater to those changes.
Right. And the article suggests Beast Bites, creatine bites, for this age group. Remember, they have that full 5-gram dose of creatine monohydrate and no added sugar, which can be a win-win for maintaining muscle mass and, managing blood sugar levels.
That makes perfect sense. And, those natural ingredients and the NSF certification, that's reassuring for those who are prioritizing health and quality.
And there's a similar question about men over 50.
Okay.
So I'm curious, what's their suggestion for that age group?
Yeah.
They actually recommend 2 options. Create creatine monohydrate gummies
Okay.
with their premium Crepure,
Right.
and extreme creatine by Ultra Health X with its minimalist formula. Both offer the full 5-gram dose and creates reduced sugar content. Could be a big plus for someone who's focused on those long-term health goals.
It's great that they offer different options to suit individual preferences and priorities.
Now, before we move on, what stands out to you so far from all this information? Anything that particularly piques your interest?
What's really striking to me is just how many options are available.
Yeah.
There's a creatine gummy out there for everyone, whether you prioritize clean ingredients, premium quality, or a minimalist approach. It's amazing to see how the market has evolved to meet such diverse needs.
I totally agree. It's exciting to see so much innovation in the world of supplements.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears for a second and talk about where to buy these awesome gummies. The article recommends Amazon. Any guesses why?
Convenience, right?
Yeah.
Amazon has got it all. Fast shipping, tons of reviews, and probably some good deals too.
You nailed it. They offer fast and reliable shipping, especially with Prime. Plus, you can read tons of verified reviews from other users, which can be super helpful in making a decision.
Absolutely.
And hey, who doesn't love saving a few bucks, right? Amazon often has subscribe and save discounts for those repeat orders.
I do love a good deal. Sometimes all those options on Amazon, they can feel a bit overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it's like, where do I even start?
Right.
but those reviews can be a lifesaver. They help you narrow down your choices.
That's true. And reading the reviews, they can give you a better sense of the, pros and cons of each product from people who've actually tried them.
Right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the basics of creatine, explored the ins and outs of different gummy formulations, and even touched on where to find them. But before we move on, what's one thing you think our listeners should keep in mind as they're kind of navigating the world of creatine gummies?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is to prioritize quality and results.
Okay.
Look for products with transparent labeling, credible certifications, and a dosage that aligns with, your individual goals.
Right.
Don't be swayed by flashy marketing or unfounded claims.
Right.
Do your research and choose a brand you trust. It's about making sure you're getting your money's worth and choosing something that actually works.
That's such great advice. I think it's so easy to get caught up in all the hype.
Right.
But ultimately, it's about making those informed choices, and finding what works best for you. And speaking of finding what works best, I love that this article doesn't just end with a list of recommendations. It goes a step further, and it provides a clear recap of the top picks in different categories.
Yep. It's like a cheat sheet.
Exactly.
They can easily refer back to it and find the perfect gummy based on their individual priorities.
Exactly. So let's recap those categories real quick.
Okay.
Just in case, folks are taking notes.
Oh.
First up, we've got the best overall Beast Bites creatine bites.
Mm-hmm.
They're all about that full 5-gram dose of creatine monohydrate, no added sugar.
Right.
And they're NSF-certified for peace of mind. Plus, they cater to various dietary needs. They're a great option for a wide range of folks.
Definitely a solid choice.
Yeah. Then we have the best clean formula, X-Works Build Creatine Gummies.
Right.
These are for those who prioritize natural ingredients and transparency. And remember, X-Works is all about that science-backed information and their holistic approach to fitness.
They're not just selling a product, they're building a community.
And for those who want the best of the best, there's the best premium option, Creatine Monohydrate Gummies. They use Creepier, which, as we discussed earlier, is the top shelf creatine monohydrate. They've also got that reduced sugar content and are backed by a company that's really focused on educating consumers about creatine.
They're all about quality and information.
And last but not least, for those on a budget,
Right.
there's the best value pick, Extreme Creatine by Ultra Health X,
Mm-hmm.
their minimalist formula with only 8 ingredients, including that full 5-gram dose of creatine,
Mm-hmm.
makes them a great option for those who are cost-conscious but still want an effective product.
I can't beat that.
Okay, so we've revisited those top picks, but I think it's important to step back and think about what all of this means for you, the listener.
Absolutely. We've thrown a lot of information your way, so let's connect the dots and bring it up.
What's the big takeaway? What's the one thing you want our listener to remember from this deep dive?
I think it boils down to this. Creatine can be a powerful tool in your fitness arsenal,
Okay.
but it's not a magic bullet.
Mm-hmm.
You got to approach it with knowledge,
Yeah.
make informed choices, and find what works best for, your individual needs and goals.
That's so well said. It's about taking ownership of your fitness journey,
Mm-hmm.
and being an active participant in your own well-being.
And remember, those creatine gummies, they're just one piece of the puzzle. Combine them with a consistent workout routine, a balanced diet, and enough rest, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.
So as you explore the world of creatine gummies, remember, it's not just about building a better body. It's about building a better you.
And who knows? Maybe those delicious gummies will be the fuel that ignites your passion and helps you reach new heights in your fitness journey.
I love that. Now, before we move on to part 2, we like to leave you with something to think about, something to ponder, as you continue your exploration of this topic.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the physical benefits of creatine,
Mm-hmm.
but what about the cognitive benefits?
Right.
There's more and more research suggesting that creatine might actually enhance brain function. Absolutely.
Memory and even mood.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. I'm definitely going to have to look into that.
So as you incorporate creatine into your routine, pay attention not just to how your body feels, but also to how your mind feels.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by the positive impact it has on your overall well-being.
That's a great point. I think it highlights that fitness is about more than just physical strength. It's about mental clarity and, cognitive vitality as well.
Absolutely.
It really is kind of wild to think that like a gummy could impact both your physical and mental well-being.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It speaks to the idea that our bodies and minds are, connected. We tend to compartmentalize fitness and just focus on the physical stuff. But well-being, I think, it goes beyond that.
Oh, absolutely. Nourishing our bodies and our minds and finding the tools that can help us, thrive on all levels.
Mm-hmm. And those tools don't always have to be like super complicated or anything. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the simple things, enjoyable things that you can add to your routine that make the biggest difference.
Like a tasty gummy,
Exactly.
It's packed with a powerful punch.
You got it.
Okay, so before we get too carried away thinking about all the possibilities, let's bring it back to those top picks we talked about earlier.
Good idea. It's always helpful to recap those recommendations, make sure everybody is on the same page.
Right. Okay, so just to refresh your memory, the article's best overall pick was Beast Bites Creatine Bites. They've got 5 grams of creatine monohydrate per serving. They're sugar-free, 100% natural, made in the USA. And they cater to different dietary needs. Vegan, halal, gluten-free certified.
And they've got that chef, remember?
Right. The chef co-founder.
Yeah, who's really focused on making sure they taste great.
Next, we have the best clean formula, X-Works Build Creatine Gummies. These are a great choice for anyone who prioritizes natural ingredients and transparency. And X-Works, they're all about science-backed information and a holistic approach to fitness. They've got a whole ecosystem to support your journey, remember.
It's great they're really invested in their customer success, I think. It's cool.
I think so, too. All right, next we've got the best premium option. That's the creatine monohydrate gummies. They use Creepier, which, as we talked about before, is, I guess, like the gold standard of creatine monohydrate, known for its purity. They've also reduced the sugar content, and the CEO is, like, really passionate about debunking all the myths out there about creatine.
We really are all about quality and education, I think.
And finally, we have the best value pick, Extreme Creatine by Ultra Health X.
Yep.
Their minimalist formula with only 8 ingredients, including a 5-gram dose of creatine, makes them a winner.
Affordability and the effectiveness. It's a good combo.
Right.
Can't beat that. Okay, so we revisited the top picks, but I think it's important to think about what all this means for you, the listener.
Absolutely. We've given you a lot of information,
Yeah.
so let's kind of connect the dots here.
Right, right. What's the main point? What do you want the listener to remember from this deep dive?
I think it comes down to this. Creatine can be a really powerful tool,
Mm-hmm.
for your fitness,
Yeah.
but it's not a magic bullet.
Mm-hmm.
You have to approach it with knowledge,
Right.
make informed choices, and find what works best for you and your goals.
That's so true. It's all about taking ownership of your fitness journey,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, for sure.
being an active participant in your own well-being.
And remember, creatine gummies, they're just one part of the puzzle. Combine them with a workout routine, eat well, get enough sleep, and you'll be amazed at what you can do. So as you're exploring all these creatine gummies out there, remember, it's not just about building a better body. It's about building a better you.
And who knows,
Yeah.
right? Maybe those delicious gummies, that's the thing that ignites your passion
Yeah.
and helps you achieve new things with your fitness.
That's awesome. Okay, now it's time for our final thought, that little piece of wisdom we like to leave you with.
Okay.
We've talked about all the physical benefits of creatine,
Mm-hmm.
but what about the cognitive benefits?
Right.
There's more and more research coming out about how creatine can actually enhance brain function
Totally.
and even mood, right?
Yeah.
So what if we challenge you, the listener, to think of creatine as not just a muscle builder, but also a brain booster?
That's a good point. You
Yeah.
know, as you incorporate creatine into your routine, pay attention to how it affects, not just your body, but your mind.
Yeah.
Your mental clarity, your focus, and just your overall cognitive function.
That's a great point. It really highlights that fitness is more than just, physical.
Right.
It's mental, too.
Absolutely. It's about taking a holistic approach,
Yeah.
to your health and well-being. And maybe those creatine gummies can be the starting point for that.
I like that. A starting point.
It really is kind of amazing how something as simple as a gummy can, impact both your physical and mental well-being.
Yeah. It speaks to how connected our bodies and minds really are, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think we often forget about that.
Yeah.
We get so focused on the physical side of things that we forget about the mental.
Absolutely. It's about nourishing both,
Yeah.
right, both the mind and body.
Exactly.
And finding those tools that, help us thrive, on all levels.
Exactly. And those tools don't have to be, complicated or intimidating.
Right.
Sometimes it really is the simple things that make the biggest difference, the things we enjoy.
Like a tasty gummy.
Exactly.
That's got a powerful punch.
You got it.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's worth mentioning that this is just the beginning,
Right.
of your creatine journey.
Absolutely. We've given you the information, the things to consider,
Right.
but the next step is really yours.
Yeah.
Take what you've learned, do a little research, and find the gummy that's perfect for you.
Exactly. Maybe it's one of the ones we talked about today. Maybe
yeah.
it's something else. The important thing is to make a choice, an informed choice that you feel good about.
Exactly. One that aligns with your needs and your goals.
And don't forget, it's not just about finding the right product. It's about the journey.
It really is. It's about, showing up for yourself consistently, physically and mentally, pushing your boundaries, celebrating your achievements, and never giving up on yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
And who knows, maybe along the way, you discover new things you're passionate about, strengths you didn't know you had, and unlock a level of well-being you didn't even think was possible.
I think that's the beauty of, fitness in general.
Yeah.
It's a journey of self-discovery. Every step we take brings us closer to reaching our full potential.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of creatine gummies for men.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep pushing those limits, and as always, happy lifting.